on Neptuno. Don't know if that'll be a thing. Don't think it will, but you never know. As we have seen Symmetra get some play in Season 2.
Atlanta not showing anything real crazy. Carpe on the Sombra is definitely a possibility. Neptuno not going to come out on the Symmetra. All right, very well behaved from Philadelphia, which is consistent with what we observed from them when they went up against London. Let's see what they bring to the fray here, though. Again, it'll be slow movement through, trying to get some control of this high ground. I love that response from Massa straight away, saying, nope, you're not getting up here.
And, you know, because Sato actually gets booped down, they use the bubble like we were talking about in that graphic, and there's no damage being put down on it because Sato ends up on the ground. So that's a one way you can deny Azaria some charge.
By running away?
Well, I mean, they force Sato down, and he doesn't run away by himself.
This Dogman really just trying to put as much between him and the Fusion as possible, then sort of appear in line of sight and let go a volley of orbs. Fusion's still a bit unsure about how they enter this fight. Like, where's the weak point? What can we exploit here? Dogman is playing off to the side on his own. You can see that Masa's sticking very close to him.
You want to keep that Zen alive, and they get him. And they actually rotate around Atlanta because they didn't want to play over where that mega health pack is, because with the Winston for Philadelphia, you could have closed the gap really quick, forced them up to the staircase, really tough position. They try and wrap around and then maybe use the staircase in that high ground to protect the Zenyatta. Doesn't work out for Atlanta.
I mean, that's probably the most pacifistic, take on point A I've ever seen. They just waited until Atlanta were out of position. This is a trait that I actually used to observe from a lot of Finnish Overwatch teams, early on in the game's existence. They just waited until Atlanta split themselves, essentially.
It's a pretty fast time there for Philadelphia to take our first point here on VOLSKAYA. 6 minutes plus to take point B. But they have the opportunity to finish here with a lot of time left in the bank, as VOLSKAYA could be a map that could go pretty long. We see some high score lines here on this map.
Where it all went wrong for Philadelphia in the grand finals of our inaugural season last year. A 1-for-1 trade early. Sato was hoping to get a little bit more value with this Primal Rage by knocking people in the opposite direction, but he's got no choice now but to turn this into a bit of a mess off towards the side. With the Transcendence brought out from Dogman, he says, okay, it's enough for us.
Philly's fine backing out here. Poco drops. You'll have Boombox fall as well. They try and get Carpe back. He has the grab here, doing a nice job in terms of energy. The average energy is sitting at 54 compared to Defran's 8. The Defran doesn't really have a long fight there first, where, Carpe stays alive the entire time, wins that. So it's one of the reasons kind of heavily over towards Carpe. But you can see the Zarya glowing a little bit. When they glow, that means they got that high energy.
It's like the same as you're told when you're out in Australia. If anything glows, just don't touch it. It's going to hurt you.
I've been to Australia 3 or 4 times. I've never heard anybody say that.
Because you don't leave the house.
Well,
Poco up in the front.
I would need to get there, but it's kind of the logic you typically use, so I get it.
Sound barrier here for both sides. Another team really wants to engage. You'll know that Philly want to get aggressive right now. When the rally gets used, they're going to come forward to Frank quickly. Let's go with that Graviton Surge, and it will be a self-destructive combo with it. It won't really be necessary, though. It finds EQO, but Sato and Neptuno had already been felled. Atlanta Reign secure themselves a pretty efficient cleanup in that fight.
And Atlanta needs to use some of these ultimates. You can't let Philly, be the aggressor, use the ultimates, take the point, because, like we mentioned before, taking point 2 here, point B, and still having like 3 minutes in the bank, that's great for Philadelphia. So Atlanta needs to secure a lot of these fights rather easily, use some of those ultimates a little bit more freely, as now we'll see Carpe Inco coming back. He's still got this energy from that second fight. Still sitting at near 70%.
Oh, I love that. The 180 straight into the Graviton Surge. Atlanta wasn't ready for that one at all. Pokemon trying to give himself and his team a bit of an umbrella, and it pays off, and it doesn't protect him from the Earth Shatter. Defran's down. He was discorded before he even hit the ground. The rest is elementary, my dear Watson. Fusion with the positioning on the point, Matt. They are looking very good now. Hiding in the back is Darko, so he might try and stall. He's actually sitting to the bottom right of your screen currently. He flies in just to keep this one going, stunned up pretty quickly. Good idea from him. And a sound barrier on a mini-G might not seem like much, but it is keeping the Reign in charge at this point.
Yeah, he connects with a few other players as well, as here comes Carpe back on Reaper. Reaper just shredding through tanks. Obviously, the lifesteal able to give himself health back as he puts down damage. You see the health not really going below max here.
Whoever knew that Edgelord could look so good. Massa knocked up against the wall. Couldn't get away from that self-destruct, and Philly eventually get their prize. 2 points captured for them now, and it'll be up to Atlanta to see if they can match that one. Philly will try and put up the defense and get themselves their 3rd map here We'll be back in just a moment.
These fights really get drawn out, but I think both of these teams are so disciplined and so good and have a great understanding of the ultimate economy that nobody's really wasting or forcing a lot of fights. We see in this series more than any, and I think I've commentated this far, is both teams' willingness to back out of fights and concede fights, not give ult charge to the other team, understanding how important those ultimates are.
It was said by many pundits that the 3-3 play was not very clean over the last few days of the Overwatch League. Perhaps the screws are being tightened just a little bit more as Philly and Atlanta both ease into what we consider to be the current meta. Cool, nice little boop off the high ground there. Lovely work there by Darko just to unseat a few of those Fusion players. Again, he's just gone up there. I mean, motion sickness people probably should look away from the screen, but Philly really trying to control the high ground as best as they possibly can. And those players that are on the ground are being very careful. Carpe isolated, picked off.
It's a really nice play from Darko and Dogman. Dogman lands the Discord on Carpe. They get him pretty low and they force him back by the health pack, and Darko just flies right in. Ends up giving up this mech in the end, but totally worth it. And we talked about how impactful Zari is, the leading damage dealer in a lot of these teams. You get the other team Zari out early. So there goes, even the more important than the damage is almost the bubble, right?
Yep. It only took them 70 seconds, Matt, to capture point A. And again, I bring back to the topic we brought this half back in on, saying the fights here seem to be so decisive that, you know, you very much have an idea of the team that's going to win it almost before it begins.
Yeah, I mean, you save and back out to fight another day. Atlanta, they probably know they have a slight advantage in terms of ultimates here. Let's see how they decide to use it. Rally early, they're going to try and protect Dogman as Sato is jumping right on top of him.
Yeah, Sato's actually trying to wrap around a little bit, but he's taking a lot of damage in the grab. Beautiful! He baited them into the trap. Sato's now missing. Philadelphia have to go alone with just 5 players. Oh, Carpe! The grab was eaten by Darko, and that's how the Fusion were going to get out of jail, but now it looks like a solitary confinement. Atlanta, with all their players up on the point, and Sato has to commit to this one with a Primal Rage. Maybe he can mitigate the effects of the Transcendence being used by Dogman, but there's really very little he can do. The self-destruct claims EQO and a large chunk of Sato's health in Primal Rage, and now it's time for the Sound Barrier from Neptuno. He's huddling with Carpe up on the high ground. They're a little bit too afraid to commit, but Boombox gets an important pick. Ursula goes down from long range. The young Brit manages to find a very crucial target. But again, it's going to be tough with this Graviton Surge. Sato tries to pop right in with a pile driver, and Massa now is down. It's a war of attrition. Philadelphia slowly clawing their way back into this one.
Good old EQO Reinhardt here coming out of the end, just trying to get on the point and swing, but no, Sato on Wrecking Ball, such a difficult target to take out. Wrecking Ball so mobile, self-sustain. Philadelphia holds barely.
Those picks, those little picks, right, we saw from Neptuno and Boombox managing to just, you know, like fire a volley of, you know, orbs down the way, picking off a Brigitte or something similar. That's how you get back into these fights. You spawn much closer. You can trickle your players out, you know, in 1s and 2s and keep the point contested. Whereas the attackers, when they lose a player, it is a long walk back. But Defrando has yet another Graviton Surge. He's been building these very quickly. And again, Atlanta will be leaning into that one to try and take the point back. They've got all their impactful ultimates. Philly a little bit low on them. Now Defran's going to push them away. Look at this, straight into the choke. Transcendence has to be used here by the Fusion. It's the only way they stay alive in this fight. Earthshatter knocks Sato down, but they can't find a kill off the back of it. It's just Neptuno off to the side, taken down by Dogman. And with a self-destruct in the middle, that was supposed to help relieve the pressure for the Fusion. It was only Massa to fall for it here, and the Fusion need to find a couple more picks in over this point. It's going to be tough. Boombox down at half health. Sato knocked up towards the side, forced to try and charge across the point. He lays it down. And Neptuno really can only sit there and watch the Atlanta rain, blistering pace, and they lead in time bank after that attack.
This has been such a sick series this far, man. The Dogman, you know, the substitution coming in here playing Zen for Atlanta. They're really making an impact. You know, the damage between him and Boombox is about even, but you know, the Transcendence healing, you know, Dogman sitting at 4,300. 3K for Boombox, and Dogman getting it, you know, about 10% faster. 10% doesn't seem like a whole lot, but in the course of the game of Overwatch, the 10 seconds could be the difference between winning and losing.
In dog years, Matt, that's a lot.
I set you up for that one. You just knocked it out of the park.
3 minutes and 26 seconds. That's what Philadelphia Fusion have on their time bank, Matt. So it's a little less. Not distinctly so. Here's Defran pushing in.
Yeah, so check this out. So Defran's trying to look, and he sees Poco out to the left, knows there's no chance of that getting eaten, and then he tries to pop his own bubble during this to potentially block off the Transcendence healing. Transcendence works on line of sight. You can block it with the Zarya bubble. That's where you see some heads-up play for both of these Zaryas. That was a pretty sick play from
We've also seen players, Zenyatta players, in the middle of using Transcendence, blocking self-destruct damage onto their teammates, right? We saw some of that yesterday in Navani. So there's tons of techie little things that you can do with line of sight in this game. And a lot of these players at this level are going to be looking to exploit those to get the best results or the most bang for their buck out of their ultimates. Here we go, Philadelphia Fusion out the door, and they know they've got to be pretty expedient once again at capturing point A.
And something as little as that, like as Zarya walking in with a bubble, blocking is the difference between like maybe somebody dying into a self-destruct or not.
Or it's stopping your teammates from getting shackled as well.
Exactly.
Philly again. Probably look to try and pull apart Atlanta in a very similar fashion. Sato up to the high ground, quickly denies that away. Atlanta wait for the bubble to disappear from the Winston before, making their own foray back to the high ground. But this high ground with Carpe, EQ, and Boombox is going to be hard for Atlanta.
Atlanta playing this the exact opposite way they played it the last time. They didn't want to play from this mega health pack room. They tried to wrap around the previous time on defense. This time, they want to see maybe if you could take advantage of Sato diving in, get a bash, a Discord, take him out pretty quick.
Well, this time, Philly don't have an easy target to pick off. They don't have a dogman or someone who's isolated. And Sato seems to actually be the one facing that issue now. He had to back right up. Look at his health. Just now being healed into a position where he can continue to fight. Philly are in a decent spot, but they're not actually applying point pressure until just now with EQO stepping on. This is looking much like King's Row. They're looking to force Atlanta into a mistake. EQO has the shield bash out. He got a little bit too close for comfort there.
Yeah, they almost got Sato that first time, able to stay alive so long. Some great Winston play. You see the movement, just phenomenal. He is the target that Atlanta is trying to take down. They're just not able to do it.
And these Discord orbs are being followed up so well. All three tanks went down with Boombox's Discord orb. That's how they managed to find that pick on Defran, where it didn't actually appear like there was any single player completely out of position. A lot of extra damage there in a Fusion as a result. It's a more drawn-out fight. They get those ultimates up. There is potential here, Matt, for a snowball situation with Philadelphia leaning into their lead in ultimate economy to finish the map as quickly as possible.
I think what Philly could do is like a speed boost and rally here, maybe kind of put some damage down onto Pokepo, force that Transcendence out. Then at the later half of that Transcendence, you see the Graviton Surge come.
Sato Primal Rages could be nasty! Busters off the edge and Sato, oh no! You are not going anywhere, Dogman! Get back in the kettle!
Well, that's denying Transcendence healing from some of his teammates. It's just Philly hasn't made progress on the point. Now the grab comes out.
They did manage to nullify most of that Transcendence, which is crucial. Poco down, Ducko also missing the self-destruct from Poco, posthumously yielding himself a kill. Off towards the side is Carpe, and like you said, when Zarya's glowing, she's out there to do some work. Sato blocking that spawn exit, and now just that little aperture preventing Atlanta from streaming onto the point the way they'd like to. Sato does go down to the ensuing firefight, but the Transcendence here means Philly can just ease into the rest of this fight. Pressure Ducko down with a Discord orb, and Boombox, he's in the hot seat. He's in the perfect spot right now, just to wreck the Atlanta rain. But Poco might have other ideas. The Earth Shatter comes in and he claims EQO. He's looking healthy. Carpe's kind of caught out on his own here. Defran gives himself a barrier. Carpe has to back away on the left-hand side. He's going to struggle to escape from this one. Defran pushes forward, and somehow the Atlanta rain have managed to turn this one around.
Oh, they come back, Poco switches over to Wrecking Ball, try and get back. When they lose Sato, you don't really have a big bubble to block a Shatter, and Pogba walks onto the point, hits a huge Shatter. Carpe kind of forced all the way to wrap around to the high ground. They're not able to get any use of that Zarya. Oh man, what a hold there from Atlanta. Now only 30 seconds for Philly.
So much time lost in that fight. Not unlike me, the Fusion probably thought they were on easy street after that Transcendence came up. Beautiful Earth Shatter for Pokemon. And sometimes, like I said, just the one kill that you need. This is very aggressive for Sato. He's gone straight into the back line, immediately going for the Primal Rage. Carpe will wait this one out, see if they can get Darko D-Mech to avoid him with the Graviton Surge. That 3 players caught up in it. Sato's in the mix now as well. The Jungle Gym is here. Darko gets desuited, and it's just Pokemon on the point. Philadelphia Fusion pushed through after what would have been such a frustrating previous fight. But they get there, though, one way or another.
And really, for Atlanta, it comes down to losing Dogman there early. He had that Transcendence. We talked about how much more effective he's been with the Transcendence ultimate of Zenyatta than opposed to Boombox on the other side. And he drops there. As soon as he drops, that's when the grab comes out from Carpe.
Those final moments here. This is that last little push. I see you there, Dogman. push straight in towards him.
Ooh, the Discord, the bash, and then the whip shot.
Again, Dogman doesn't want to play with the rest of his team because he doesn't want to be subject to getting dived on by Sato. He's going to try and hide away, then appear when the rocket jump is going to be on cooldown. But he still has to play on his own at an alternate angle, a peripheral angle, if you will. And again, if you notice him, EQO knew straight away he had to go.
So we'll see what Atlanta decides to do on offense. I think what they have right now is probably what they're going to run out on. I mean, they could switch everything, right, and run like a quad DPS, triple DPS, but they've been pretty consistent, running the Reinhardt version of this triple tank, triple support. On defense, Sato's still staying with the Winston, so I think on defense you could run either or. Winston obviously very strong to get to the high ground in a lot of situations. A lot of escape routes for Winston here on VOLSKAYA to break line of sight from the opposing team and get around some of these corners, get healed back up.
It'd just be a persistent nuisance is probably what he's looking to do. The Reign come out with a Reinhardt-based 3-3. So generally, this is considered to be stronger. There's a little bit more damage output there. Pokko actually has burst damage, something that Sato doesn't have available to him. Takes a lot of damage early to Sato. He's forced to just pretty much head vertically straight up. Dogman is like, all the damage coming from Boombox on the high ground. They get him! Carpe follows up. You can see the pressure point that Philly are trying to aim for here on the Atlanta. And now they're boxed into this little room. And they're missing their Zen.
I think you have Pokko playing in this position. He knows the Zen needs to come back. So Atlanta's got an option. You either let Dogman fight out one-on-one against the enemy Diva, or you go back, you try and get him through. So you see they kind of moved in this choke here. That's going to allow Sato to put down some damage as they walk through. It gets healed up. So Atlanta starts their next push. Oh!
There it is again!
Oh, no.
Oh. Well, the Fusion definitely trying to isolate the Zenyatta or Dogman here, and the Reign are going to great lengths to shepherd the Zenyatta into the point with them. But again, it's quite a distance to cross. Now this puts extra pressure on Atlanta. Say they may have to play slower. Maybe the tanks are going to be always looking over to the shoulder to make sure the Zenyatta is there and he's protected. The Dogman on your screen there is, again, this is not aggressive positioning from him. He's just being picked off by Philly, who are looking for him actively.
Philly's got grab to use here. You're walking towards some of these chokes. Carpe could hit it towards the wall, which he does, and everybody's caught inside of it.
That's a lot of energy. Oh, that's filthy. Sato there as well with multiple melee kills in that roiling massive body. So again, pause for thought for the Reign. They probably knew they'd struggle a little bit, having sort of lost the first fight, losing Dogman. They knew they'd be behind an ultimate.
And I want to give some props to Sato. It's a lot tougher, I think, to run this comp, because the Winston, if you go in and the bubble's wrong and your own bubble is wrong, the bubble coming from Zarya and then your own, you could easily just get stunned, Discord, and taken out with ease. He's done a great job of staying alive. Only 6 deaths to the entire map.
Atlanta have assumed the tortoise formation. Really not wanting to move, and Dogman's been spotted, so Sato definitely has caught his scent. And there's a Primal Rage available, so Sato, if he wants to start displacing some of these frontliners, he's going to do it. Asta, though, gets caught. That's a big fist to cop to the jaw, and unfortunately, he's not getting up from that one. Pokko! Very clever from Pokko there, just to try and stay up. The charge, there was damage there, but it was a Primal Rage Winston, Matt. Yeah.
And it's tough for Atlanta because obviously you've wasted a ton of time getting stuck at the choke. DeFran's built this grab. You haven't had an opportunity to even use it. Carpe's probably going to end up with another one. I mean, you've already seen them use one. You're going to get that second one and be able to use it before Atlanta gets a good use of their first.
1 minute 17 left, and Atlanta need both point A and point B to stay in this map. The Reign tentatively now move forward onto the point, but Boombox is the high ground and he drops in. As soon as the Graviton Surge was used, he knew it was Transcendence time. Darko finds EQO. Again, the Brigitte catching a little bit of the blast, and the sound barrier for the Fusion doesn't really get any value because they're too busy planning on the next move. Carpe's Graviton was eaten up by Darko, and all the options that Philly had to go for have been stripped away from the one-by-one. Pokko forlornly heads for the hills. And the Atlanta Reign managed to capture point A, and again, not a moment too soon. They really had problems getting their coordination in place to take it.
Yeah, Boombox gets weak on the high ground, and he's actually forced to use Transcendence and then drop to the point. That's when Atlanta can land a big sound barrier. They're able to swing things in their favor, and that they know that Darko eating the Graviton Surge is massive. So a little bit under a minute here for Atlanta to work with. They're gonna rally on in.
You know, that's when the fight starts, when you hear the rally sound. Self-destruct, that's one, and it was a big fish indeed. Defran, hook, line, sinker, back to spawn. And now Massa gets pushed up on the side. Darko over the edge. They'll probably try and stagger that mini out for a little longer. Ooh, Atlanta. They really wanted to get something going there. Sado's setting up now. 24 seconds remain. This has to be a Transcendence used correctly. Dogman cannot get picked off. Pokpo needs to find Sado, find a way to get around that shield. It's go time, Matt.
Carpe's going to play a little bit forward up. You build this grab, you get them off the point. They may not even be able to touch, but he's going to actually back out. A little bit too risky playing up front.
Here we go. EQO drops straight in. Transcendence, immediate answer from Dogman. Places it up on the point. Philly, reluctant to push forward, reluctant to get aggressive, and they wait out their own Transcendence. Now Atlanta don't have the healing available that Philly does. A huge disadvantage for them in this fight. Graviton Surge used. They're all caught together. Big Earth Shatter. Pokpo knocked to the ground, and here's the responding. Oh, it's a big grab from Defran. Dogman finds Carpe, and it's just Boombox. He has to leave the point for now. Philly have to regroup and find the numbers. Atlanta are down to 4. Just 4 players left for the rain. Boombox might have been caught, and he is. 75% on the capture as Poco is desuited one by one. Philly are being knocked down. The self-destruct doesn't claim too much, and EQO can't even get to the point. Now the Rain are here in numbers. They're starting to put out the damage. Neptuno is knocked aside. Carpe's trying to work on the periphery. He found Dogman at least, but he needs the rest of his team to be a presence on that point, and they keep getting bowled over. It's in overtime, and here's Carpe back. One last stand. He walks over in on a raid form, and EQO returns to the fight as the Tracer. He's going to be knocked away quickly as well. What a match!
Defran with that Graviton Surge was huge, but then he makes a big brain play. He turns around, you actually see Poco with the self-destruct towards the end, but Defran doesn't want him to come back and keep contesting the point. He actually backs out into the alleyway, and he just chases Poco away. He has to go further away, and he's less on health, so you can't extend the point for that longer, and he's not even able to throw the self-destruct on the point, clear them off of it because he's so low. It's just that little extra damage that he goes back and puts on him that really prevents Poco from extending that, allowing Philadelphia to get some more players back on the point.
There's a real chance that this could result in a draw on this map. Both teams now have 1 minute, just 1 minute, to get as far as they can through the map. And yes, that would be extended by overtime if they're on a point. If that is the case, it'll still be 1-1 in the series, and the next map would be the decider regardless. Very close, VOLSKAYA. Similar play from both these two teams. I really feel that these guys are very calculated, especially the Fusion, really trying to pull the Atlanta Rain apart. But Dogman coming into this roster here looked good in general. It's been tough. He's been getting caught out a fair bit, but it's not always been his fault.
I tell you what, though, I mean, regardless of win or loss, I think Atlanta's proved that they can contend with the top. You know, they get that win the other day against Florida, and everyone's kind of like, let's see what they can do. Philly was in our grand final last year, and they're taking it to them.
But one way or another, there's a lot sitting on this map in the next few moments. So Poco's just sitting around the corner there. He's trying to keep tabs on Atlanta, but they know they need to push forward fairly quickly. The more damage they do, the quicker they get those ultimates, the quicker they can make a decisive play to claim the point. Dogman's trying to stay safe right now, and his opposite number, Boombox, is on that high ground. Massa gets caught. That's not good at all. They need that Lucio so badly. Barry was used on towards Pokpo now, and he only has his shield to stay up. Poco on the drive-by, doesn't mind about the insurance bill. And Carpe drops in over the top. He's not supercharged right now, but the fight's just about to get serious. Dogman is finally felled, and the Philly Fusion repel that first push by Atlanta. Matt, they have 10 seconds to get back to the point. Massa may get staggered if he's not careful. Neptuno was nipping at his heels, but he's not going to be able to get there. There is a mini diva on the point, though. Darko was lying in wait. But he spotted! He doesn't get there. He's hiding around the corner. It was cute. But it doesn't work.
When they lose Massa, they have to try and force anything, right? So they try and get Pokpo in position to make a play. Darko tries to isolate Boombox. Both of those things don't work out. They lose some more players. And obviously, with only a minute to go, at that point, you lose a few players. We're sitting at 20 seconds, not even a second opportunity. Here's where I think Atlanta gets a little scary. It's like this Philly, with a minute to play, you know you kind of have a draw on the table if nothing happens here, right? Do they try and pull something out with like double sniper and play a little bit further and try and get a pick and do something creative? Because then that you would want the Winston version of the triple tank, triple support. If you come out with Reinhardt and they run some quad DPS, you could be in trouble. You know, a minute a minute you can have enough time to, you know, play some games if you're Philly, you know, pick, get some damage, chunk a player down. One player drops for Atlanta, you know, you're looking at a Philadelphia map win. So I think that's probably what Atlanta had to decide before they came out. They come out on the Reinhardt version of this. And now I think, we'll see what Philly decides to do. Philly comes out with something like this, could be really interesting. They've kind of been messing around the spawn with stuff, so you don't really know yet until we actually get into the game.
But they may want to exploit the lack of mobility of this composition that centers around Reinhardt. It was typically quite static. Looks like that's what they're going for, though. It is going to be a DPS-centric composition for the Philadelphia Fusion. Farah, Hanzo, Widowmaker, all in the mix.
And if you're Philly, why not? Right? We've seen this work with the London Spitfire. You come out, you know they've only really been playing a ton of Reinhardt. You know that's kind of what they're going to run.
Carpe's set up now. There's not really anyone that can actually access him unless Darker wants to take the arduous trek across the map to pressure him down. EQO tries to hit that concussive blast, doesn't get resolved for Popo, so low. He's very low. EQO in a great position to rain these rockets down. Ursa also has to take cover, 1-for-1. Carpe went down, Masa pushed him, but he's resurrected. He's brought back into the fray and he gets another crack at it. Still in a position, Masa had to go after him. You see him on the right of your screen. Carpe being pressured down now by the plucky Lucio. And he got EQO! Are you kidding me? Masa wasn't even looking for Carpe!
They're going to do this.
That is astounding from the Atlanta Reign. Philly throws them the strangest look. And they respond with confidence. Sada doesn't even really get to the point. He's taken down. The Dragon Strike was used, but it's not enough. I would love to know how Masa changes targets so quickly and finds Afara up in the air. He said, oh, I can't have the Widow? I guess I'll just take the bird. Very impressive stuff from Atlanta. They prevent that capture. And they make that map a draw when it looked like Philly had the golden ticket. They had the answer. And yeah, you can be happy about it. Oh, Dogman, okay, all right. That reminds me of myself over the talent takedown. A little bit of pluck, a little bit of spice here from the Reign. We love to see it. One more map is just around the corner.